experience you want travelers to get out of traveling with E&O Express?
Oh, well, we want them to feel that they've had a trip of a lifetime, that they've met some interesting people, that they've had some fabulous food, that they've had, we hope, the finest service in the world from our fantastic onboard team who are all Thai, and that we have inspired them and entertained them and introduced them to some new experiences and destinations and people.
Now the design of the train,
yes.
Is it meant for travelers to go back in time because it gives a very colonial feeling?
Yes, and that's exactly the feeling, the ambiance that we hope to create on board. Luxury train travel, of course, is a thing of sadly of the past, except for some of Orient Express's trains. You know, the train was designed to recreate the experience of what is called the golden age of travel, the 1920s and 1930s, when trains were the most luxurious way to travel anywhere in the world. So the designers were given the brief to design a train that would look like a luxury train in Asia might have looked had it existed in about the 1930s. So, and other than the royal carriages, there were no luxury trains back then. So they had to take their inspiration from our famous sister train in Europe, the Venice Simplon Orient Express, but also from things like a fabulous old movie starring Marlene Dietrich called the Shanghai Express, which is kind of a spy murder mystery that takes place in the 1920s. It all takes place, or most of the movie takes place on board a luxurious imaginary train in China from that period. And so the designer looked at that, and in fact the marquetry design in these carriages actually was inspired by the marquetry design in one of the carriages in the movie Shanghai Express.
How do you actually pick where to do excursions or to stop for the train travel?
Well, we do our research and we go and visit the places when we hear about something or we learn of some experience or excursion that we think is available, and then we do it for ourselves, and we then look at our guests and what kind of experiences they seem to like. So it's always a little juggle. There are some things that be fantastic experiences, but sometimes you just can't make them fit within the timetable or within other operational parameters. But there's, we try to, in the course of our 6-night journeys, have a nice flow and diversity of experiences, some of which are cultural, some of which are artistic, some of which are just fun, some that involve food, so that at the end of the trip, we hope guests have had a nice introduction to the destinations and the cultures and the people that we've introduced them to along the way, and that they leave, say, feeling a little inspired and entertained, and that we've given them an enjoyable holiday.
For this trip from Bangkok to Singapore, we will stop in Kanchanaburi province. That's a little bit of a detour, actually.
Sure, yeah.
But it doesn't matter, right? Because we're not in a hurry.
Very good. Yes, we're not in a hurry, and we chose to go to Kanchanaburi because of the historic River Kwai Bridge, and that, for many of our guests from Europe and the UK and Australia, it's a very meaningful stop because it's a very meaningful part of recent history. So we felt it was worth adding to the program. The scenery is also quite lovely going out to Kanchanaburi, and as you'll see tomorrow morning, the trip along the Tem Kese Viaduct from Wangpo back to Kanchanaburi is spectacularly beautiful and one of the most scenic parts of the whole journey. So having seen that, we just felt it would be a shame not to give people the opportunity to see that, and if they wish, learn a bit more about the history of why that railway was built along there, and how it was built, and you know, pay their respects if they wish at the cemetery and visit the museum and so forth. So that one was quite an easy choice because of the historic connection, and the destination is so well known to so many of our guests.
Another stop that we'll make during this trip is Penang, Malaysia. So among all the places, why Penang?
Well, we think Penang is a fantastic little, you know, gem there, and a little capsule that reflects a lot of Malaysian history in one place. You have the beautiful colonial buildings. You have the blend of Malay and Chinese and Indian heritage and cultures all in one neat little beautiful package there, that's right next to just across the straits from the railway station at Butterworth. So there's lots of great stops that we could include in Malaysia, but we felt that was the best choice for us in one excursion, to have the opportunity to show people a wide, you know, range of the culture and history of Malaysia in one stop. So, and our guests seem to really enjoy it. It's a lovely little city with lots of beautiful architecture. And of course, now that it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, again, it's got some meaning and some resonance with many of our passengers, who are very supportive of anything that retains cultural history, as UNESCO does.
In terms of business, what are the challenges in operating this luxurious train travel?